Right, good morning and welcome back. As you see, I haven't got my hair cut yet. I will get to it at some point. You can see the blue oak chair over my shoulder. That's my next project, so I'm going to be shortly ripping that up, and it's having two different fabrics. It's having a gold velvet on the seat and another fabric from Art of the Loom on the back, which unfortunately hasn't arrived yet. There's been delays with the printing of the fabric, but they promised me that I should have it in the next 48 hours, so I should be able to finish this chair relatively quickly. So let's have a closer look at this chair. Right, there you go. It's actually got a solid seat in it with just foam on it, so it's been reupholstered at some point. I don't know if you can see the colour difference here. Yeah, so this was the original cover. You can see it's stapled on. The seat's been replaced with a foam and a hardboard at some point in its life. So we're going to be putting a gold velvet onto the seat, and then the back is having the Art of the Loom woven art fabric on it. So we need to strip this out, replace the foam and get it done as soon as possible. Let's just show you the fabrics. So the gold's going on the seat and this is going on the back, this floral sculpted printed velvet. It should look really good when it's done, to be honest with you. We've got lots of cushions waiting to be collected today from various customers, so I'll be filling cushions in between as and when they turn up, and we got a nursing chair that's being dropped off today. So let's crack on and start ripping up this chair. Right, so you can see this here. This seat would have originally had a webbed and canvas seat, but the timber around the edges deteriorated that much. Somebody's put a piece of hardboard on it, and then the foam on top of it. It would originally have had horsehair or grass or natural fibres in it, but it's been replaced with foam. We're going to put foam on it as well, because the customer's happy with that. She knows exactly what's involved. But you can see, I'll try and show you a picture of the state of the woodwork that we've got to try and deal with and get a fixing into, which is the difficult part. Right, so there you have it, the state of this woodwork along here. It's well and truly, this is what happens when they're using tacks. Because of the size of the tacks, it splits the wood. Staples wouldn't have such a bad effect on it nowadays, but that's all they had. The upholstery would have all been done with tacks. I'll just show you what I mean. That's some tacks there. These are little 8mm tacks. The ones we're pulling out are at least 10mm, and they're heavier, so that's why the damage has been caused to the wood. Stripping the arms, strip the back, and hopefully get some cover on. At least I can do the seat because I'm waiting for the back fabric. So I'll just finish off getting this ripped up, and we'll get back to you when we start foaming the seat up. So there we have it. The chair is now stripped. We're just going to leave this bit of foam and felt on here. We'll put some new over the top of it. But the back's all stripped out. Again, you can see all the holes in it. Just a few tacks I want to get out. And again, back to the seat. So next stage is to do the seat, because I can't do the back at the moment, but I can do the seat. So I need to possibly remove that board and put a bit of glue on it and put it back on, because the board is lifting in places. So may do that, I'll see in a second, may not, and then cut a new foam seat and get the seat done. Right, so here we go again. So we've got the seat stripped. I've actually glued it down and put some screws in it to make it more stable. This isn't going to lift now. So I've cut the foam. We're going to use a 2-inch relatively firm foam in this seat because I don't want it to be too thick because of the height of these corners here on the legs. I think you can just about see. So we don't want to come above that with the foam. And then I'm just going to put a Lux Bond over the top of that, just to give it a soft touch and finish cleaning, making these look a bit better with the Lux Bond, these edges, and staple that onto there. So that's what I'm going to be doing right at this moment. So let's get on with it. Right, so there's the seat on now. Quick, simple, straightforward, but the preparation was done. The foam was already cut to size and so is the Lux Bond. I'm going to leave this Lux Bond here, this salvage. We'd normally cut that off, but because of the framework, it's got so much damage to it, I'm going to leave that on until I've covered it with the fabric. Then when I trim the fabric off, it will take the excess Lux Bond off, because I want it to have Lux Bond all the way down to this edge. So I could trim it off now, but it's just easier to do with the fabric, because the fabric helps hold the Lux Bond on. So I need to cut the fabric, which is, as I said earlier, the gold velvet, and get this seat done. So making steady progress on it in between interruptions today, people collecting cushions and so on, but we'll get there, and I will Lux Bond these arms, and hopefully the fabric for the back should be here relatively soon, next day or so. Then I can get the back done, get this chair finished off and back to the customer. may look easy, but I've been doing this 30 plus years. The trick with seats is getting the tension right to start with, between your four sides and to the corners. What you want to see is a nice even curve from one side to the other, the same front to back. You want to try and avoid any lumps and bumps and so on, so it comes out nice and clean. There is a knack to it, but there you go, that's it, the seat's done. I'm just going to trim off the salvage now. I need to sharpen my Stanley knife. Trim off the salvage and then we can move on to the arms. So there you have it, the seat's all trimmed off with the Lux Bond, or whatever you want to call it as a brand name. The fibre has come off at the same time, so we've got a nice clean edge here ready to be finished off however the customer wants. Need to get on with the arms. Excuse me. So that's trimmed off. Little tip for you, always use a sharp Stanley knife, never a blunt one. Blunt one's more dangerous than a sharp one because you put more pressure on it and you can slip easier and therefore cut your hands because you're generally working close to your hands. So next clip to get on with the arms. Good morning. Right, unfortunately the fabric company have let me down on the fabric for the back of this chair again, so that's, well, back of the chair and the arms. So unfortunately it's going to grind to a halt very shortly, so I will be starting this sofa and the other sofa and the chair from this suite and get that done in the meantime. So back to this chair. The seat is done, all bar the double piping, which I'm going to do anyway, so I'll do as much as I can on this chair so it prevents any further delays. So I'll just show you what I mean by double piping, as you're probably not going to know what it is. So let's just go over the cutting table. I've got a bit of scrap fabric that I've converted into double piping and single piping, so you can see what I mean. Right, so here we have single piping. I hope you can see that there. This is generally sewn into the edge of cushions or around the top of stool tops, that we do, but you'll see this a lot on cushions, single piping, it's sewn in here. This is double piping. So we sew this up from the fabric and 2 rows of the piping cord. In this case it's a washable piping cord. Sew it up, and then we staple down this line here. You can see where it's sewn together. We staple down there, and that closes up and hides the staples. So that's how we're going to finish off this chair seat, but in the gold fabric we got there. So I'll get that cut, sewn and attached, then put this job down and get on with something else I can do. So attaching this double piping onto this particular chair, as you see on the back of the piping here, we have the salvage that I've trimmed off, and it's not right up tight with the stitching, so it shouldn't fray or come away. So we're going to lay this on the job, and we have this salvage pointing down, so when it's on the job there's no risk of it coming up past this edge and being visible. So that's the way we're going to orientate this double piping. I may have shown you doing double piping before, but I just try and give you a little bit of detail because not everybody is. This might be the first video they've seen. So trim off the end, take that, fold it back and then run the staples along. There are other ways of fixing it. Sometimes we use glue, etc., but with this really heavy double piping here, I'm going to use staples because it's going to be well hidden in the join, in the stitching here. Okay, I'll do my very best to show you in a little bit more detail what we're doing. So I'm just going to trim off the end, like so, and then open the end up, the stitch in, break the stitch in to cut out a little piece of the piping cord, which you can see there, I think. Okay, so cut that out, both pieces. There you go, that's the other piece, cut that off. Trim off a little bit of the excess of the fabric. Fold that over. And then I can fold this over and pull the double piping back on itself. I'm probably not explaining it very well, but hopefully you can. So, staple that on there. Pulling some tension into the double piping from here there. It's got a couple of staples on it there, so it should be fine. It's just to try and get the kinks out, get a nice straight line from A to B. As I showed you earlier, the timber on this has very much been destroyed, so to speak, so we probably will have issues getting a fix in with the staple. I'm using the long staples in here. They're approximately 12mm in length, so we should still be able to find a decent enough fix in to hold the piping on. So run a row of staples down the seam in the double piping. I will tap this to make sure it closes up, but you won't see staples here. So at the end, I'm going to cut the piping about an inch longer than we want it to finish. Out of the way. And the same as what I did with the other end. Need to cut the seam, excuse me, and take out the excess piping, so then I can fold the fabric back on itself, so we get a nice finished end. So I need to do that all the way around the chair, and then that's about as far as I can go with this chair. The chair has never had a bottom cloth on it, so we won't put a bottom cloth on it. Keep it as original as we can, albeit though it's got a hardboard seat in it, which it would never have done originally. But there you go. Each one is different that we come across. Everything that comes through the door is never the same. There's always differences, and you need to adapt to that to meet the customer's needs and the needs of the upholstery, the chair itself. So same as the other end, cut out the salvage piping, trim the excess fabric back so I can fold it in on itself, fold it back underneath itself. We get a nice finished end there. Hopefully get a couple of staples in, find some of that wood. Go. So that's the double piping on the front edge. Just go around the rest of the chair. Don't need to see me do that. I'll come back to you and show you the finished seat. There you have it. That's the seat done and double piped. The arms and the backs do as soon as the fabric arrives. I'm hoping it turns up today, but I have a suspicion it's not going to be here today. It should be here by the end of the week. I need to get this back to the customer now. She's been very patient because of the delays with the fabric, but I'm getting fed up and tripping up over it, so I need to get on with something else. So as you can just see, I'm going to be starting this sofa here that's just behind us. There's 2 sofas and the chair for the matching suite. It's got cushion arms on it. Which are bolted on, like so. So there's lots of cutting and sewing with this suite. So I need to get on with that and try and get as much of the sewing over to the machinist as soon as possible. So let's crack on. But in the meantime, I think this is going to be the end of this video for this week. Unless this fabric does turn up today or tomorrow, then I will try and get this done and show you. So fingers crossed that turns up. So on positive notes, the fabrics arrived for the oak chair, so I'm going to crack on with that to get it back to the customer as soon as possible. That's the inside back, outside back, and the arms covered now on the chair just over my shoulder. So now I've just got to sew up the double piping, which you've seen me do previously. So let's get on with that, get this chair finished, back to a customer, and I've got to go do a collection later this morning. Right, so that's this done now. I'll just pan out and show you a decent picture of it. The double piping on this chair, certainly the one in this colour, is very easy to work with because of the pattern. It just hides everything, so it does make it easy to double pipe. So quick and simple. The plain fabric's a little bit more difficult because they show up lumps and bumps and everything in them. But this particular fabric is very easy to make double piping for. Fabrics do make a difference to the upholstery. It makes some can be very hard to work with, some can be simple. But anyway, let's show you a better picture of this chair. There you have it. Done, done, done. I'm just going to wipe the wood over, just check it all over, cut off any hairs that have appeared or cottons, and bag it up, and it's time to make the call to the customer and let them know their chair's done. So there you have it. That's about it for this week. Short video, just looking at this chair really. I've got lots of cutting I need to get on with to get that off to the machinist. That's not really going to be very interesting for you. You've seen me cut before. So I'm going to crack on with that, and we'll see you in the next video. I hope you're enjoying the content. It's a little bit of an insight into what goes on here in the workshop and what we're currently on with, or what I'm currently on with. And we'll keep putting the content out there if you keep liking and subscribing. Thanks for viewing. Cheerio.